of IT experience and has exposure to products, services, and the captive environments. She has worked in various locations from Asia Pacific regions, Singapore, Indonesia, and USA, and has a flair for outsourcing strategies and offshore development models, having managed huge teams from both shows. She is the winner of Chairman Award for Client Satisfaction. She has presented paper in PMP conference on project management and steps in firms. Her article "Retail While Bricks and Mortars Are Still Relevant" was published in Financial Express August 2018. In this wonderful occasion, I have to thank our respected principal of GCT, Dr. P. Thamai Madam, Dr. V. Prasnamurthy Sir, Secretary of GCT Alumni Association and student members of Vice Service Club of GCT Youth for the wonderful support to successfully presenting this series. Before entering the session, we put one request among the participants. Participants, please mute yourself during the session. If you have any questions and queries, please put it in the chat box only. Now I am handing over the session to our guest speaker, Mrs. Vidhya Krishnaswamy, madam.
Um, Thank you,
Ma'am,
Ratesh. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me, see me? Hello? Ratesh, can you hear me? Am I on mute?
Yes, ma'am. It is visible, ma'am.
Visible? Can you hear me too?
Yes, ma'am. Audible also, ma'am.
Thank you very much. First, let me share my screen. Let me know if you're able to see my screen. Are you seeing my screen? Are you seeing my screen or no?
No, ma'am. Screen is not visible, ma'am.
One second. Share. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Now it
sure.
is fine, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you very much. First of all, thanks a lot for, I know weekends are, you would like to take a break. I know with COVID times, break is not a great break, but still you want to do something of your own. Thanks for taking the time out of your regular schedules and joining me in this session. Um, and thanks, Ratesh, for the wonderful introduction. So, yes, I am a GCT alumni. I'm very proud to say that. And I studied 84, 88 batch. Probably none of you were born at that time. Um, and I'm assuming all of you belong to the second, third year, fourth year students batch, born around 2000, 2001 kind of, the millennials batch. So at that time, we didn't even have computer science when I did my engineering. Interestingly, they used to call GCT as Girls College of Technology because there were a lot more girls as compared to the CIT and the PSGs, which were other colleges very close by. So I'm not sure whether we still call it GCT. Interestingly, this November, I mean the November which 2019 November, I did visit Coimbatore. I spent some time in GCT one of the days. Nostalgic moments, and still I do have friends in and around GCT. So I do have connects with them. I do visit them, and I'm sure you guys are in great hands to be shaped up for your career. And so I thought I will do a small PPT. The session format will be I will spend some time introducing myself and my thought process, and then we will open the forum for question answers. Uh, that will be the format. Okay. If you can't hear me in between, feel free to put it in the chat window or kind of raise your hand. None of the videos are on except for mine. So I'm assuming all of you are. I'm not sure whether you're able. If you have difficulty in seeing me or seeing my presentation, let me know. Okay. So a short introduction about myself. I think Ratesh already did that, but I will just touch upon some of the areas. Currently, I mean, my entire 30-year journey. So interestingly, from 88 till now, I've never taken a break. Um, except, I mean, of course, when my son was born, we had a 3-month maternity leave, and that was the only break I took. But apart from that, I've always worked the entire 32 years without a break, good and bad. So I did nothing else other than work. But as a part of the work itself, I made it so interesting that I always look forward for what I'm going to do next, right? Even till today, my work is interesting. So every day I start with something which I'm going to do new in my job, and that is what has kept me awake and inspiring all along. So I have changed multiple companies, worked in multiple companies, but I will touch upon a couple of companies in the last two stints. Prior to Publicis Sapient, where I'm working right now for the last 6 years. Prior to that, I was with Wipro for a long time. So before that, I was with Target Corporation as a director for point of sale stores. Target is a US retailer. And then in Wipro, I was taking care of their emerging markets and the US retail. And with Publicis Sapient, I'm not sure how many of you have heard Publicis Sapient. These guys are into digital marketing. Publicis is the #3 ad marketing company in the world. So Sapient was bought over by Publicis in 2015, and we became part of Publicis. Publicis is a $9 billion company, pretty big, based out of France. And Sapient was based out of Boston. And we have around, between Delhi and Bangalore, we have around 8,000 people between these two locations within India, but across the world, for Publicis, we have more than 70,000 people in the world. So what all roles I have played, right? I mean, all of us, I'm sure uh, we want to start our career with certain role. But what I have seen is, see, I started my career as in software, interestingly. So I didn't know much about software, but I did learn Clipper probably for 6 months, and then I moved into hardware, hardcore hardware. I was an R&D engineer for a couple of years. Um, then I did a DBA, database administrator work. Then I did a performance tool, more on measuring performances of the applications. Then I moved into a program management role, did my PMP, all of that, and then I started doing focusing more on the domain. That's where the retail and the CPG comes into picture. And right now, what I'm doing is I am developing a product for CPG company. When I say CPG company, Unilever and GSKs of the world. I'm developing a product for them for Publicis through Publicis Sapient. And the product will tell how Unilever, for example, Unilever has a Dove soap. How can they improve the sales in Amazon or in Walmart or in any of the online platform? And that is what I'm doing right now for them, and an entire with a Google Cloud, with microservices and React.js UI is what I'm right now developing, and I'm handling a big team, 50 plus, and um, so I do get involved technically. I do get involved in program management. So it's a techno-functional. I do both. What technologies I know, I have touched right from, as I said, Oracle, C, Fortran, Basic, long. I mean, we did in our college, Fortran and Basic. So things have changed drastically. So my latest was on GCP, the Google Cloud Platform, is what I have done in the latest. So I've touched upon multiple technologies. The reason why I'm saying is the technology keeps changing, and you really have to be uh, continuously learning, good and bad. You can't just settle down and say, "Oh, I'm done. I can live with this technology forever." Think and how you make yourself more suitable for any technology which comes in is what matters. What will make you really successful. Geos, interestingly, I had exposure to multiple geos. So I have worked in US. In fact, last year, 1 year, around 10 months, I was in US. I've lived there for 4 years. I've lived in Asia Pacific, Singapore, Indonesia. I've visited multiple countries as a part of the job, very unseen places like in Australia, South Africa, Chile, Brazil, and in Sapien I started my role with London. Um, so I think I've visited multiple places, enough challenges on hand to manage both family and uh, the profession. But I never gave up. Things were not easy, but I think the drive what you have will keep you running. Certification, I've done a lot of certification. I will just touch upon this year what I did because I can't cover all the 30 years of journey. This year, January, I did a Safe Agilist. This is more agile programming methodology. 2 months back, I did Amazon Ad Tech platform. Last week, I did marketing analytics, more on analytics in regression and all of that from University of Virginia. Um, Coursera certificate. So the what keeps me really going is the continuous learning process, and that makes the difference will make a difference for all of you. Apart from that, I know I have written papers published in Financial Express. I have participated in multiple forums. I read blogs, all of that. So that's a long story short about me. I know 32 years cannot be shrunk into 10 minutes, but I'm trying to give you some snapshot of myself. Uh, so with that, the topic of the day, right? I mean, it was a very generic topic. I was also debating, should I give you a very generic topic or should I really deep dive? So first I thought, um, especially with the changing times, with COVID, with technology changes, so all of us are a little bit confused, right? I mean, where are we headed towards? Are we in the right profession? Am I choosing the right technology? How am I ensuring that when things are changing around me, how do I really sail through that for a successful career? So I thought then this could be probably the right topic for us to touch upon today. And also I'm going to give you my own personal experiences in terms of how I sail through and what could be important for you. It's my own personal experiences, again, not read from a book, but whatever I felt. Uh, it could be something else for you, which will work better for you. And it is for you to figure it out what works for you. Okay. So with that, what is my story about? I mean, how have I managed the changing times? And 32 years is good enough time for us to see the changes, right? I mean, what I see today is not there tomorrow. What I see tomorrow will not be there day after tomorrow, and that is a constant change. And what have we done in terms of you know uh, adjusting with the changing times? And I will touch upon 4 different topics. Um, Following your passion, unlearn, relearn, building your personal brand, and being resilient. So, and share my experience on each one of them and how this has made a difference to manage the changing times. So, as I said, right, I have done multiple roles. I was in financial domain. In US, I was into a product development. Um, So it was always like a job given to me and I will do it. See, generally, I have a habit of not saying no, meaning if a role is given, Vidya, can you do it? I will pick it up and do. So it may not be a exact match with my skill set, but I will look at it as a learning. And And those days, right, people, smaller companies, you get exposure, a lot more exposure because there are nobody else, no one else doing things. I mean, you have to take up everything A to Z and do it. It almost, I would say, took more than 15 years for me to even identify what my passion was, um, to see what I want to do, to see what will interest me. And it all happened when I did my IIMB course in executive management, a couple 1 year course, and there was they do teach supply chain through a beer selling game, and that was an aha moment for me. So I said, this looks so interesting for me. I feel I'm very connected. You get a feeling of connected, and I felt without doing too much of work, without learning anything, I was able to connect me with that particular subject. Then I thought, why not choose my career in retail? Because that seems to be my passion. And I chose Target as a company to work for. And the rest is a history, right? I mean, last 18 years, I've been in retail, CPG, and all my work. I mean, I do different types of solutions. I do different technologies, but everything revolves around the same domain, except for the stint which I did in US last year, which was an auto, which was a failure in my mind. Um, so what I would recommend is you will have some passion in yourself. It could be, it can change. Don't worry about it. It can change. Today, whatever is your passion, it could be a domain, it could be a technology, it could be something which you will be interested. Don't force fit yourself into what you want to do. For example, I want to reach a place, then this is the only way to do. There are multiple ways to reach a place A. And if your passion is different, follow your heart, not your brains many times. So what is the advantage of that, right? Um, you will never lose your motivation because it's a long journey. You guys are just starting your career. There'll be a lot of failures along the way, and you should not lose your motivation at any point of time. You have to keep moving. You have to keep moving, keep learning, and start with your current passion. It could be one subject, two subject, whatever it is. So I would request right now, if you have a pencil and paper in front of you, just spend 30 seconds to write down your passion. You don't have to show it to anybody. Just write down your passion. Your passion could be, or you can just write it on the, if you're okay to share it, you can put it in the chat window. Any one passion. It could be a technology. It could be a, sorry, was there a question? Can you put yourself on mute? Whoever is talking, please. Yeah. So write down one thing which is your passion, one or two things, whatever you feel. It could be a technology. You might say, ma'am, I'm interested in doing machine learning, right? I mean, or I'm interested in doing computer vision. I'm interested in doing, program management. I'm interested in doing something. I mean, whatever is your passion, photography, I don't know. I mean, your passion could be non-technology also, but that's fine. I mean, because everything can be connected to technology at some point of time. So write down your passion, okay? And then see how you can achieve your passion. That will make it automatically interesting for you. And you won't feel the pain of working 10 hours, 12 hours, 15 hours a day. So it becomes a part of your life. Um, the second item I have is unlearn and relearn. So I really have to give you the history of this 30 years. See, when I studied in GCT, we had a Fortran basic, and I did my project in C language. So we did a Fortran first phase of the compiler, the lexical analysis on C. That was our project which we presented. But things have changed, right? Nobody is using a Fortran on basic and now. 2000, every 10 years, every decade, look at what is happening. Every decade, before 2000, everybody was running behind COBOL. I myself had done so much in COBOL. Then Visual Basic Power Builder. Perl and Python. 2010, then people are running behind, of course, the Android and iOS and Scala and Node.js. Now the latest, the Go, which is designed by Google, TypeScript, open source, taken care by Microsoft, Dart again, client optimized, designed by Google again. So I think as I speak, things are changing. People are today, everybody is interested in machine learning languages. Everybody is interested in mobile programming, you know, things of that nature. So I think what happens today after 10 years when you're in your career, it could be very different. So you can never say, I will learn this technology and I'm done for my lifetime. And I can live in this technology. Your olden days, your previous generations or couple of generations, they used to learn one skill and kind of manage their entire career. That is not going to happen because as we speak, things are changing. And how do you keep yourself up to date, right? Learning one thing is new, but if you really look at the entire underlying factor of all these things, the business problem hasn't changed. The business problem, the problem which was there long back, how do I sell in a store, is still the same. If Ambani is trying to do something with GeoMart, the problem is the same. How can I use WhatsApp to really improve? Problem is the same. So the technologies are different, but the business problem is the same. So always don't start anything with a technology, start with a business problem. And that is where my domain skills have helped me a lot. Because, for example, right, I mean, I was doing a business problem solving for the London retailer Tesco. So they said, oh, we have a problem in order picking when somebody is ordering apples and oranges. And these are all in millions of orders. You have to go and pick from the store, right? How do you pick apples and oranges? So what I really did was before I started solving the problem, I said, I will go to the store myself. I will do the picking myself. I wore the store associate dress. I went there. I did the picking, understood the problem before I started thinking about what technology to use to solve the problem. So I think the technologies can change the business problem. It could have a different hat, but the basic problem will never change. So always start with the business problem, understand the business problem better. Then you might say, I thought I can use Go for this, but I feel Dart could be a better choice, right? Then it's a question of how do you solve the business problem with the technology, and you will start following the technology because in your mind the business problem is what is more important than the actual technology. So and you have to continuously unlearn and learn because relearn actually, right? I mean, technology is always like that. Business problem could be the same, but technology today is Go, tomorrow could be something else. And how are you going to say, oh, because it's not just learning. What I also felt was when I learned C language, when I learned Fortran, there was certain way of programming which has got programmed into my mind. But that didn't work out when I tried something else, a database, when I tried a Power Builder, I said, then this is not the way things are working. Then I have to clean up my mind. I'm not going to fix my mind with what I have learned. Say, start from the beginning. Forget what I have learned. Unlearn and relearn, which is very important. And uh, and I really feel proud of this digital native kids. All of you belong to digital because when we studied, we never knew computers. It was force fitted into us, and we started learning computers in our jobs. But you are born with laptops and phones. You know how to operate things better than anybody else. That is why most of the companies are running behind you because you understand digital better than us. So, which means that you will also be able to solve the problem much easier because you are digital native. We are digital immigrants. Um, so look at it that way. The third one, which I would like to touch upon, is building a personal brand. I mean, you can't do this overnight. It comes over a period of time. It comes over a period of 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, whatever. So, have you heard about this term GQ? Um, the leftmost? Anybody knows? You want to type it out? Okay. So GQ is called Google Quotient. What it means? Go and type your name on Google search window. What do you see? Do you see anything? Do you see your LinkedIn profile? Do you see anything? For example, you went to a hackathon. Is it coming up? Is your name? So tomorrow, when you say right now, the first job when you get out, you will have companies coming to campus interview. You are given in a platter in terms of the job. Of course, you have the difficulty of writing exam, clearing interviews, and all that is there. But after the first job, you are on your own. Nobody is going to find you a job. You have to find yourself. You have to market yourself to see that somebody is going to pick you from out of this. It's an ocean. There are so many people in the market right now. How will you make yourself more impressive, more marketable compared to others? Okay, that is where this Google quotient comes very handy. So how can you be more, participate in external forums? First thing you do today, if you don't have a LinkedIn profile, go and start one. It is free. Write a LinkedIn profile, write about yourself, say that you're doing a GCT, you are passionate about this subject, you have done something. It could be a very small, you have helped your neighbor in COVID, or you have done some programming for your brother or sister or your dad. Dad was struggling a bit with the WhatsApp, doing some, you did something, or you did spend a day to organize. Write it down, nothing wrong in that. Okay. GitHub. Are you a part of GitHub? If not, what to start doing, starting your profile in GitHub. Um, so when you start looking for a job after you graduate, you got your first job through campus interview, people will start looking at your LinkedIn profile, and that is how you get hired. People will say, oh, Vidya is applying for me. They will type Vidya on the Google search window and see what is showing up. Is she participating? Is she a famous person? Does she know multiple things? And how do I really do that? And this is not a one-time job. Please understand that. You have to continuously do throughout your career. And whatever you do for that matter, right? You have to continuously post, you have to continuously, participate in forums. And how do you really create your brand around yourself? What are you good at? Right? That is very, very important. Um, it could be a combination of, you should definitely have participate in external forum. When I say if you take your own college, I would say if there are hackathons happening in outside colleges, participate in it. It's okay. I mean, you might not know anything. It's okay. Learn. It's a learning process. And one thing I would say, if you don't know, don't sit back and say, I don't know, I'm not going to do it. No. Jump on it. Jump into the water. You will learn swimming automatically. Internal forum, your own college, GCT will have a lot of forums and initiatives running. Participate in that. Wear multiple hats. It could be something what you're doing in technology. It could be something what you're doing in domain. It could be something what you're doing for the public service. Could be anything. Try to do multiple things. And off late, I understand there is a hackathon is a common term. I know all of us are aware of hackathon. Researchathon is something which is coming up. So they time box the research, 3 days, do this particular research and tell what is happening. So everything revolves around your Google quotient. How can you make yourself marketable? So after your first job, you spend in your first job 3 years, 4 years, right? I mean, so software, whether you like it or not, staying in the same job for 30 years is kind of unseen, unheard of, right? People keep changing their jobs, which means that you have to keep learning things, and you have to keep learning new things and keep yourself more uh, preferred as compared to others in the same field, which means that you have to do a lot more. which is external facing. People should know what you're doing. That is where your paper presentation or going to an external forum and doing that. And you have to learn that over a period of time. And you can start doing that right now. If you, as I said, if you don't have a LinkedIn, don't have a GitHub, start today. Okay. So by Sunday, end of day tomorrow, you should have a LinkedIn profile. It takes hardly 10 minutes for you to create one. You create one and you can build over a period of time. You don't have to finish everything on day one. Okay. You can build it over a period of time. When somebody types your name, they should see your name coming up on LinkedIn profile, which is very, very important. Are you with me? Okay. So this is very important because that is where how you market, as I said. The last but not the least, um, if somebody tells you that, oh, I've been very successful in my career, I'm at the top of the world, what you see is only the tip of the iceberg. There is so much failure below that, which is, you are seeing only the success part of it. There is so much failure below that. So why I'm saying this, right? Because if you get a failure, right, it is a demotivation for you. You will think it's end of world. Um, you will think that I won't be able to, and there is a huge setback for you. Happens all the time. So you have to really recoup and say, forget it. I mean, if you, for example, you don't get a job, right? Somebody comes for a campus interview, you don't get a job. Microsoft comes in, you don't get a job. You don't really feel bad. Microsoft is not lucky enough to have me. That should be your thinking. You can get a better job than Microsoft. You can get a better job. You can do better than, see, money is not everything, right? Learning matters, and how you set up your career over a period of time really matters. So I thought I should give you a couple of my own failures. Uh, my first, in my own career, as I said, right? I mean, last year I went to US, a 10-month stint on an automobile Fiat Chrysler program. I had to say it was a total flop. Um, for some reason, I couldn't really do the job well. I tried learning. Um, it was a -20. The location was also too cold, full of ice. I couldn't really do what I wanted to do. It was not conducive. Then I really felt, should I take a break in my career? I mean, it's too taxing for me, right? Then I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I came back in September. October, I started this product development, what I'm doing. So it was depressing, but now I have got over it. So you have to get over it. It's okay if you fail. It's perfectly okay if you fail. And don't feel ashamed to tell people you have failed. You have failed, you've fallen, you have got up, you walked. That's what matters. Okay. Same thing, right? I mean, my own personal thing. So I was doing my master's in US from San Jose State University. I completed 15 credits. This was way back 2002, 2003. I came back. I said, I will go back and finish my master's. I could never finish it. I felt really bad. I did my engineering. I wanted to do my master's in US. I couldn't finish it. That's when I joined. I said, so I'm not going to leave it like that, right? I want a master's degree and I'm going to join IIMB. So I made it a point in 2005, I joined IIMB. Okay. So I needed that brand in my name because I need to do an MBA to be successful for my rest of my career. So I think it is extremely important. If you fail, it is perfectly okay. Don't bother. If you don't get a job, you will get a better job. You have to look at it this way. If I don't get anything, there is something else which is better for me, waiting for me. And I need to grab that, because if you don't get something, you should not feel bad and make it worse and not even get the one which you're supposed to get. Okay. So this is very, very important, and everybody fails. My worry is people talk only about success and then don't talk about failures. And you think that people, if they are in a good job, it's only the success stories around them. No, everybody has failures in multiple areas, and that is how they have built their career. If they're still standing, it is because they brushed their failures, made the failure as a success for the next and just focus on that. That will be my thinking. So I think those are my points. I know we are running short of time. I want to keep it open for the question answer also. Open for the questions.
Hello, ma'am. We've got a few
Hi.
questions in our chat box. May I write
Okay,
it
how can I
to
see
you?
the chat box? One second. Can I see the chat box or no?
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Can you?
One second. Give me a second. Okay. I will. Where can I? Okay. Okay. I'm seeing. Yeah. Sure. I'm seeing that. Yeah. Go ahead.
What is the Satika has asked, what's the use of doing forums, blogs, or writing papers?
I'm unable to hear you properly. What is it? Give me. Okay. What is the use of doing forums, blogs, or writing papers? Okay. Satika, thanks for raising this question. This again, there are two things which I felt, right? One is it improves my knowledge. Even if you write your own experience, right? Uh, it improves my knowledge. For example, the paper which I wrote and which was put in Express. Financial Express came back and said, we like your paper. We want to put it in our. So it showcases my knowledge. Okay, it showcases my ability to do something. I'm expressing myself. Okay, now how does it help me? One, it improves my knowledge. Second, it improves my marketability. Believe me, all my jobs, what I have done, I did not look for a job. There will be somebody who will want, Vidya, we want a retail person. We saw you in LinkedIn. We saw you writing a paper and we want you in this company. And that is how the interview process will start. And look, imagine that way, right? I mean, Wipro, it was the same story. Target, it was the same story. Sapient, it was the same story. Sapient was behind me for 9 months to hire me. It gives you a good feeling and it makes it so much more easier. So you're marketing yourself, you're keeping yourself up to date on what is happening. And that is where, if this is not your passion, it's okay. You don't have to force yourself. If something else is your passion, do that. Does it answer your question, Satika? Can we go to the next question? I mean, if it answers, I can go to the next question. Sorry, I can't hear you guys.
Yes, ma'am. She has responded yes. And the next question would be, what are the programming languages to know in future?
To know in future, as I said, right? I mean, today I can see now. Look at so in between in 2000, people used to say you have to be an expert on one thing. And people used to learn one thing, two thing. Either when I say one thing, it's a middleware or back end or front end and kind of thing. But now it's the entire industry is moving towards a polyglot, what we call. Polyglots are experts on everything, right? I mean, I have to first decide which area you want to focus on, right? Different, but middle layer is a middle layer. Then the cloud platform, the Google Cloud Platform, the Amazon Web Services, the multiple Google Cloud Platform where you can host these services, right? So you pick and choose where you want to do that. And I don't want you to kind of restrict yourself to this is what you will do right now. Don't restrict yourself because that will come over a period of time because you will automatically show interest in doing something. So I know a lot of people do machine learning, regression analysis, the Scala, the Python, the R. A lot of people are interested in doing machine learning. So I think you can do Android and iOS, programming thing. So you can do NoSQL or SQL. So there are multiple areas. This is not a single area, and every company specializes in their own area. So, uh, so get to know about more and more and more, and don't restrict yourself to one single thing, because by the time, for example, if you're in third year, you start learning Go, for example, right, which is written by Google. By the time you finish fourth year, Go might have gone and something else would have come. So that you have to be prepared for that, and that is what I was saying, that there's nothing like this is the future, right? By the time you finish, if somebody else is doing, then that will pick up, and keep learning. That is what is important. And today the best way to learn is to contribute to open source. I'm sure you are seeing so many open sources, and anybody can contribute to open source. I'm assuming all of you are aware of open source, and it's all available free of cost. Java is a no, so many languages are available, OpenMRS, TensorFlow, all these are open sources available. You can contribute to open source, and that's a way of learning. Learning is not studying and writing exam. Please understand that. You need to have a practical experience, which means that you have to do the coding. You have to be a part of the testing team. You have to be a part of a cloud team. Only then you will start be able to do. That answer your question. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. And just a heads up, I think the 50 minutes limit would be soon up in 5 more minutes. So if the session just cuts off in the middle, we request the participants to rejoin. So we could circle with the feedback link.
Sure.
May I move on to the next question, ma'am?
Sure. The next one is also emerging technology. I think that also I mentioned. My LinkedIn profile, I will, Ratish has that. I can pass it on to you. Or you type in my name, you can see my profile. What is somebody said best suited language for app development? Right now, people are talking about Go and Dart. And it depends on what is your business problem. If your business problem or something else suits you better, let's go with that. Okay. And don't, as I said, don't tie up yourself with, I mean, I will do only Java. See, you can learn anything. You can start with C also. It's for learning purpose. How this works is for learning purpose. Then you change as you go on to a different language. Um, so be open for learning. That will be my only advice to you. How actually GQ works? Google Quotient is basically, when you type in your name, how many articles you get, how well you're known. For example, tomorrow, um, you know, says I don't know who Santra, somebody has written that. You want to be hired by a company, and the company wants to see whether you have contributed to the open source, you've contributed to the public world, you've contributed to the some GitHub, github.io. Then they will type your name and see where are you appearing or not appearing. Okay. Even a small Facebook profile comes up in a Google question. So, ma'am, your aim when you are at a younger age. Okay, my aim was to travel. My interest was to travel a lot. So I think I have covered most of the countries except for probably Siberia or maybe China. I didn't travel. China and Japan I didn't travel. But otherwise, um, and my interest was to do a sales job. So uh, I did sales for almost 10 years. So. And that is where it made me travel a lot. So I like meeting customers, understanding their business problem, solving their business problem with technology, and that has been my, flow.
Sorry
LinkedIn
for the
profile as
interruption,
now.
ma'am. The meeting will close in a few minutes, almost 2 or 3 minutes.
Sure. Okay. And ma'am, where can I learn those technologies and programming language? Believe me, you have everything available online right now. We used to buy books and all that those days. You don't need to. You can go to Google Developer Forum. You can go to github.io. You pick the language what you want to do, right? I mean, go with the simple. I mean, if you already know Java, just go with Java. It might be easier for you, right? If you want to go with the latest one, go with the Dart or TypeScript or Go. Go with Scala, go with R, go with Python, or go with Coursera. There are so many courses available. You do one of the course. Everything is available online. Most of them free of cost for you. So you start learning one thing and start doing small programs, start playing with that, and then it will automatically start flowing in. Okay, so you can definitely learn any methodology you want to learn. I mean, I'm perfectly, or just if you're interested in cloud, right? Learn some cloud technologies, look at Google Cloud or look at Amazon, look at Azure, Microsoft Cloud. Uh, Take something and start reading about it, and slowly you will get into understanding the programming language. And believe me, just because you are not in computer science doesn't mean that you cannot do programming. Programming is more mathematics solving a business problem. If you are able to do these two, you will learn programming languages automatically. So think about it that way. Don't worry about, oh, I didn't get my computer science. I'm not a computer science student. I won't be able to know. No, I have my own team, a lot of people who have done civil and mechanical, recently done civil mechanical, doing very well in computer languages right now. So I myself, electronics and communication. I'm not a computer science student, so don't worry about it. My son is a computer science student, but there are people whom you can do anything and everything. So did I choose engineering with full interest? Yes. And by the way, when I was 16, I told my dad, Appa, I want to do only engineering. At that time, there was only those DOT 8 colleges in Tamil Nadu. No other colleges. So if I don't get a seat, I got it in waiting list. I didn't get it in the first slot. Told my dad, if I don't get engineering, I'm not going to do anything else. Get me married right now. That's what I told my dad. I'm the only child from a parent. And luckily, I got it. If not, probably I would have been a housewife and uh, doing something else. I don't know. But I think I'm too adamant, too determining. So even when my son was born, I got this US opportunity. I left him. He was less than a year old. I left him and I went to US for the job. I left him with my parents, and people scolded me. Now, how can you leave a child and go there? I said, if you guys are so keen about it, you come to US and take care of my son. And my husband took 3 years leave and did the babysitting in the US. He was at home and I was going for a job. So it's your you need to decide what you want to do, and if you really want to do it, you will do it. That will be my advice to you. If you're dilly-dallying, oh, should I, this is what I mean, be adamant. It's okay. Be deterministic. Do No, you don't need to do all. You don't need to know all technologies, Satika, because as I said, learn one, but be ready. That could become obsolete very soon. Okay, you have to unlearn and relearn. So try that. I mean, you have to always know something latest, which is very important. You can't be. I cannot be sitting on Basic and Fortran and say that I know one programming language. That doesn't help me. Um, so you have to learn. If you, for example, you're learning Java, right? uh, do it well and start looking at, apart from Java, what else you can know. If Java becomes obsolete, you should be able to jump onto something else, and you have to unlearn and relearn that. Always, you don't need to know everything. um, Whichever is your comfort zone, go with that first. Don't force fit. See, I tell you the problem, right? Your corporate world will be very different as compared to your academic world. Academic world, you're studying something, writing exam, clearing it, getting a first class distinction, whatever. Your corporate world does not be like that. So expectation is real life, actual problem solving. That is where you sometimes you struggle if you don't understand the business problem. So even when you're doing academic learning something academically, look at the business problem. Then it's easier for you to relate it to the business problem. You try to get placed at Google, Microsoft. Okay. Uh, I actually I was not very keen on Google and Microsoft. I did a bit of. I've been more on services side, not on the product side, except for the product what I'm building right now. Uh, but I did get jobs in IBMs so all along I've got jobs and it's been my choice what I wanted to do. So as I said, it's your personal choice. And Microsoft, Google. See, when I finished, none of these Microsoft is there, but Google started only in '98. So Microsoft was there, Google was not there. So and things are changing, right? I mean, people used to say, "Oh, Yahoo came before Google, and Yahoo, wow, Yahoo, and all that." But Yahoo is nowhere now. Uh, any internship while at GCT? Yes, I did an internship with Bharat Electronics Limited, BEL. I was in electronics and communication, as I said. So it was purely on hardware, so not on software. Teaching is the best way to learn, by the way. I did training in Brilliance Computer Center for 4 years. So, and that is where I learned, honed my software skills. So you catch hold of your younger sister or a neighbor and teach them, or a dad and teach them. You will automatically learn. That's the best way to learn. Where can we find internships? There are so India is not very big time into internship. I know my own company does internship, but you have to wait for the next year. But this COVID situation has made internship much more difficult because everything is online, right? Um, I would recommend if with your known contacts, go for the internship with your known contacts. That will be easier. Unknown is very difficult. Your uncles and aunts or some second cousin who's working in some company anywhere in India, ping on them and say, because internship doesn't have to be paid internship, so people will be ready to give you that internship. Some internships are paid internship, some internships are not paid internship. It's okay for you to get non-paid internship. Start with a 1 month, or normally it is 4 weeks to 8 weeks, because that's where your holiday season comes in. But you should do internship because that is where you start getting exposed to the actual job. So um, US and other countries are more, they do allow you to do more internship, but India is not. Uh, but nowadays, I think people are opening up. Most of the companies are opening up, especially software companies are opening up for internships. I did a 1 month internship only in Bell. So, any other question? I think otherwise I'm done. Ratesh, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for your wonderful session, ma'am. It's really very, very useful for us, ma'am.
Hope it was useful because I was really wondering. I mean, you guys are spending 1 hour, so it has to be, you know, otherwise it's difficult. I don't want you to waste your time, basically.
It's okay, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time, ma'am.
My pleasure.
And thank you for all participants. Participants are requested to please fill the feedback form. Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you and have a good day. And as I said, try your create a LinkedIn profile, choose one or two emerging technologies, whichever you like, start learning, and keep learning, right? I mean, it's not a 1 day effort. It'll be continuous effort. Um, Continuous learning is what will get you where you want to go, and don't miss that opportunity. Okay. All the best for all of you. Do well in your career. Um, whether webinar certificate add to a resume, I'm not sure. I didn't understand this question. What do you mean by webinar certificate? You are doing a webinar, is what you're saying?
No, ma'am. I think she means if she could add this webinar certificate to her resume.
Uh, for attending webinar, I'm not. This is only. Is there a certificate given? I'm not
Yes,
sure
ma'am.
about
We are
that.
issuing a certificate to the participants.
Then you can add, no problem. See, everything is an experience, as I said, right? I mean, build your resume, build an impressive resume, which is very important. And I always look for, whenever I do anything, I always look for, can I put this in my resume? Interestingly, similar to that. If I can put that in my resume, that means that is something I have done beyond a normal thing. So I go for that. Okay. Thank you, guys. So have a good day and all the best for your career. I'm sure all of you will do really well. Be resilient, be confident, go places. Maybe we'll meet sometime in somewhere, and definitely open for that and waiting for that too. So all the best again.
Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye.